Chimai, Chinakchit. Welcome, everyone. I hope you are having a fabulous Sunday. I am your host, the Eskimo Libertarian, and this is my co host, Cajun. My beard is too glorious for you, Libertarian.
What's up, y'all? Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Thank you, Eskimo.
You're welcome.
That's funny. How are you?
I am. I'm really cold. It's cold up here, which sounds really ridiculous coming from Alaskan. Like, of course, it's cold up here, but it's been a cold summer, like cold and slightly humid, and the mosquitoes are just absolute hell.
You were saying it's like 70 there is your warm. So that's just all. So there's times if there's too much wind here and it's 70, I got to have a jacket.
No, like yesterday, it didn't even reach 60 degrees. It was like 50 something. And that's what it's been like for a while. So I've been
That's
wearing
crazy.
sweaters. I don't have time for sundresses, which makes me kind of sad.
Jimmy says guy on right. So I switched us.
Oh, okay. We'll just do a little do-si-do every once in a while. Yeah.
Why not? It
Keep
makes
everyone
it
on their
fun.
toes.
That's right. Absolutely. That's we gotta have fun with them. So yeah, I can't. I've got our got my other laptop set up over here. I need it more closer so it doesn't look I'm looking so far away. But and then Chris says guy on left. So if we just keep doing this, they'll just keep commenting, and then it'll drive the algorithm, and everybody will see our show.
Yeah, but I'll get motion sickness and then I'll puke. That will really drive the algorithm. Like, oh, check out this girl.
yeah. If you puke on screen, that's gonna go viral.
Oh my God. I've already kissed a fish on screen. Like, let's do it. No, please don't.
Oh, Joe Vasquez says from crawfish to Usyks.
Oh gosh.
Yay.
Oh.
Chris says guy on bottom. That's weird. See, they stumped you on that one from crawfish to Usyks. It actually rhymes. That's not bad.
No.
If there wasn't a horrible story behind it, yeah.
Folks, don't Google that.
That means Google searches for Usyks will now be trending. Because that's exactly how you get libertarians to do something, is to tell them not to do it.
Yes, that's true. I keep forgetting that sometimes.
Yeah, something that I kept forgetting was what was going on with Cumberland Cannabis Company, a great company based out of Tennessee, locally owned for all of your cannabis CBD products. Please visit Cumberland Cannabis Company and search their website and give them a purchase. Sign up with them. Again, they are locally owned right out of Tennessee, like our good friend, not Chris Darnell. And Cumberland Cannabis Company, thank you for sponsoring the show. We're loving what you're doing. Thank you very much.
I don't think there's a member of Muddied Waters that can say that 3 times fast. I know Matt tried last Thursday.
Oh, I know, because me and you messed with it and couldn't handle it, and Matt couldn't either. He's in the comments right there. He's done shared something, I don't know, but I'm going to try it again. Cumberland Cannabis Company, Cumberland Cannabis Company, Cumberland Cannabis Company. Almost. I didn't make it.
I'm not even going to try it. I'm going to trip over my cheeks.
Yeah, that's hard to say.
Goodness. Well, our next sponsor is Joe Soloski for Pennsylvania governor. He is the key to Pennsylvania's success. Joe Soloski. Go help him out, folks.
Yeah, sign up for the Joe Soloski campaign. Now the Cumberland Cannabis thing is getting all up in my tongue muscle messed up. Help Joe out. Joe's actually coming on my show in August, at the end of August. And so, please help Joe out. He's the man for PA, and PA has got an awesome thing going right now.
For sure. I think we set up these sponsors to like warm up our mouths before the podcast starts, so that or some of those other like me, my, mo, ma, like all the other mouth exercises before you perform.
I have done that before, full disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if they work, who am I to judge?
They do. They'll work going through different vowels and consonants to make sure that you're articulate. It works. It's just kind of goofy. So James Reynolds brings up a good point. Somebody that I got to meet today, Natalie Bruno, for governor of Oklahoma.
Natalie's so awesome. I love talking to her.
Yeah, she's great. I met her and her husband and 6 of her kids today. Her kids and my kids played on the playground. Look at the Eskimos, like, whoa, my God, 6 kids. Yeah, 6 kids. And so
Well,
we had a total of 8 kids between 2 sets of parents out there at the playground today. It was awesome.
well,
But
if
we
you
were the
can
only ones
handle 8
there.
kids, then I trust you in being governor for a state. Man, that is
Yeah,
wow.
it's a
I
lot.
can't imagine. God
I
bless
can't
her.
either. We have 3 and it's too much sometimes.
Oh
Maybe
my
all the
gosh.
time. Yeah,
No
it's a
thanks.
lot. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So moving right along. So today I actually wanted to bring up a Supreme Court case that deals with Alaska. You guessed it. Probably most of my stories are going to be about Alaska. But
It's
I
great.
wanted to talk. Yeah, I mean, it's a big state. There's a lot of stuff going on here and a lot of stuff that people don't cover. So a lot of low hanging fruit for me. So I wanted to talk about Sturgeon versus Frost, which is a Supreme Court case back in 2019. So the cases were actually in 2018 and the ruling came out in 2019. And pretty much before I delve into it, I wanted to talk about the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act. So that was in 1980, and notice in the title, National Interest. So the nation decided to get involved with Alaska conservation because, I don't know, we don't know how to do our own conservation, which is quite insulting. And pretty much there were these public lands and gave National Park Service the authority to manage. And that's everything from recreation, hunting, fishing, you name it. They had the authority to manage these lands, even though they were within the state of Alaska. And a lot of this stuff was actually coming from DC, which is literally thousands of miles away. And so their decisions don't directly impact them, it impacts us as Alaskans. And something that the NPS or the National Park Service doesn't allow on their lands is hovercrafts. But Alaska state law allows hovercrafts, which, hey, we have hovercrafts in Alaska, by the way, in case you didn't know. Super cool. I've actually seen them, and people do use them quite often, especially along the waterways out in the bush. And it's just a great way to get around. So there's this man named John Sturgeon, and he was hunting via hovercraft and he was going along the Nation River and the Yukon Charlie Preserve. And this was back in 2007, which unfortunately falls into one of those conservation system units. And so he was just making his way through, and National Park Rangers actually stopped him, and they threatened to cite him with violating NPS ban on using hovercraft in federal park units. So imagine you're going down the highway and you're allowed to, I don't know, drive what you're driving, let's say a minivan. So you're driving a minivan down the highway, but there's a section that is managed by the federal government, and they don't allow minivans for whatever reason. I don't know, they're too ugly and they don't like them. So you're driving along. What are you supposed to do once you get to that blockade? I mean, are you supposed to like find another way around? In this case, there is no other way around. You're out in the middle of East Jesus nowhere. And it's true. It's literally out in the middle of nowhere. I'm so surprised that a park ranger found him. And like, what are you supposed to do at that point? It sounds absolutely ridiculous that on most of the roads or the waterways, you're allowed to use a vehicle by state law, but the federal government is like, no, you can't do that. So, moving right along, they threatened to cite him with violating NPS ban on using hovercraft in federal park units. So Sturgeon sued to protest the NPS action, and rightfully so. And pretty much it first went through the U.S. District Court of the District of Alaska, and that court ruled in favor of the Park Service. Then it moved on to the Ninth Circuit Court, and they affirmed that decision. And as a side note, I am absolutely upset with the Ninth Circuit Court. I do not like them at all. And something that is worth noting is that 80% of the cases that are reviewed by the Supreme Court are actually overruled. That's how awful this court is. 80% of the cases reviewed by the Supreme Court are overruled. It's a pretty large percentage there. So, anyways, there's a bunch of other reasons I don't like the Ninth Circuit Court. There's plenty of cases that have gone through there, and I don't like their rulings, and it's unconstitutional. And but that's a different story. So then it went to the Supreme Court. So this actually required two different cases. So the first case, it overruled the Ninth Circuit Court. So they got that out of the way. That was the first case. And then they had the second case, and it reviewed the case, further, going further into the evidence and such. They believe that this was such a big ruling that it needed a second case and needed more time. And it is. It's about states' rights and federal rights and state land versus federal land. So in the end, the Supreme Court actually ruled unanimously in favor of Sturgeon. So a 9-0 vote. Versus federal land. And so the state can continue to manage state-owned navigable waterways. I can't say navigable multiple times. Navigable waterways within federal conservation units. So I think people need to know that, like, when it comes to these waterways in Alaska, these are actually considered highways, especially during the winter. It's a great way to get around. It's like one of the only ways to get around, because this is like way out there, and getting building supplies for roads and stuff is just not economically feasible. So we conveniently have all of these rivers and riverways that go through in these waterways. And when they're frozen, people actually drive on them. And that is like our highway system out there. So the states have reclaimed their rights over its own waterways, essentially. And as the Supreme Court put it, John Sturgeon can again rev up his hovercraft in search of moose. So, and I wanted to bring this up because it's a step in the right direction, I feel. It's not all the way to where I want it to be, but it's a step towards nullification, which is very important, and brings up the 10th Amendment, which is states' rights. And so pretty much in this ruling, it's not all land, it's all submerged land, which is like half of Louisiana, right, Cajun?
Pretty much.
So, and then don't you guys use a lot of fan boats down there?
I was actually going to, I didn't want to cut you off, but I was going to ask you if your hovercrafts were anything like our fan boats.
I guess it would be like similar in that how we use them, but yeah, these things are actually like hovering off the ice and similar regard. They also have the big fan, and that's how they propel forward. And so yeah, pretty similar situation that you may see in Louisiana and other parts that are very swampy and use a lot of waterways as their way to get around. So waterways are a major artery too in Alaska. I mean, that's where we get all of our not all, a lot of our food, a lot of our fish. It's a way to get around, and it's where we get a lot of our water most of the time. A lot of villages actually don't have indoor plumbing, and they have to fetch water from the river. And so the state not having control of the waterways and regulations, and it's actually regulated by folks thousands of miles away, is a big deal to us. So it's kind of like also saying that the national government can say when you can go to the grocery store, which is absurd. That's essentially what it's like here. And so this is a big win for us, and I wanted to bring that forward.
James makes up a good point too, real quick. He said, rivers are the original highways.
For sure. And it's a source of life, and they're a major artery for most folks that live along them. So yeah, and this affects everyone, like folks in Louisiana or down in the South that use fan boats along the waterways. You can cite this case right here saying that the state has the right to regulate and stuff. I mean, it's not all the way to where I want it to be, but it's a step in the right direction so that the states have more power over their own waterways. So yeah, how about that?
Yeah, so that's some good and bad about how we do court cases and litigation in this country is that it does set precedents, and it definitely feels like in 2021 that that's working way more against our favor than it is in our favor right now. And so hopefully we can get, and glad that y'all are having a step in the right direction. Hopefully we can continue that trend. We've got some things going on in Louisiana right now that are very similar to that, just because we are, just a giant swamp essentially with some pockets of land here and there.
Yeah.
But we face a lot of the same troubles, and there's a large population that they live on the water. Like, they're only accessible by water and waterways. That's why you see a lot of those fan boats, is because you can't get home without it. That's where they live. And so having these waterways accessible, and it's public land, I mean, it frustrates me because they are controlled. We do have a lot of wildlife and fisheries that are by boat here. Probably the majority of them are on boat. I'm saying here, I mean in Louisiana, it's because you can't get to half the spots without a boat. And so they do patrol those waters a lot, and they will pull you over in a heartbeat. I know that's not really in reference to what you're talking about, but it's similar in the having to deal
It
with the
is.
state.
Yeah, it is similar. I mean, a lot of places here too, you can only get there by plane or by boat. There's very few parts of Alaska you can get to by cars. So it is necessary for folks to use various crafts to get to where they need to be in order to do their grocery shopping or just to get home. So yeah, for sure. And it's like that in many parts of the US. And that's why I wanted to bring up this story. Like, especially, I thought of the fan boats in Louisiana. I don't know much about it, but that's like the image I have,
Yeah, that's because that's what a lot of the, they show that stuff a lot on TV, but it is very real for sure. But the second you said hovercraft, that's where my mind went. I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a fan boat to me.
Yeah.
So they're extraordinarily loud, by the way. You have to wear ear, or you're supposed to wear headphones.
Yeah.
Ear protection. I don't know if the hovercrafts are stupid loud, but those giant fans sitting right next to your ears are.
They can be. Yeah. Definitely stay safe, folks.
And they're not called. Oh God, what you were talking about the other day in Clubhouse? People were referring to things that this. I don't know, snowmobiles, but they're not called snowmobiles, right? So if you
snow
see
machines. Yeah.
snow machine, you used a catchier word than that.
Oh, snow-go?
Snow-go.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that, snow-go. That's hilarious. You know who
Yeah.
else is a no-go? Is this picture from Jack Casey, author, royalgreen.com. A lovely mermail of Seattle. He is the author of these books, the Royal Green series, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, by the end of this episode, Jack Casey's third book will be released. And you can always call the Reynolds guy if he doesn't have this book released by the end of this episode, and you can sue Jack Casey, but you probably won't win.
Yeah, I won't go all the way to the Supreme Court like this last case did.
No, I highly doubt it.
No.
We should do can't do, I don't think we can do it now. We are Jack Casey. Yes. ASMR reading from Not a Real Libertarian. I guess we can do an ASMR reading real quick.
Oh God.
Just mess with us. Oh look. I'm throwing stuff everywhere.
So while you're doing that, I actually wanted to make a meme about something about, how Joe Biden does that ASMR every once in a while. He's like whispering into the microphone. I want to do a meme where it's like Joe Biden doing ASMR and everyone's like, oh God. But then like Muddied Waters doing MSM or ASMR, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, you have to do that. That's going to be a good meme.
Oh my gosh. It's creepy when he starts like going to the microphone and whispering. And we're going to take your AR-15s. Or no, that's Beto, isn't it? Beto O'Rourke.
Yes.
Hell yeah, we're gonna take your AR-15s.
Yeah, see, he's not actually trying to be ASMR. He is just so old and decrepit that that's how it comes through at times.
My God.
Not Beto O'Rourke, who, well, that guy drives me nuts. But the old, in incognitive, non-cognitive Joseph Robinette Biden. Yeah. At noon, the choirs began. Oh, this is chapter 3, year 984, early spring. The promise from the royalgreen.com. Everything's backwards. I wonder if I could fix that. I don't want to fix it because then Eskimo would get used to it. And then she would know how to act right on screen. At noon, the choirs began. Their voices seeped gradually about the streets, like running water over dry ground. A gentle ring of clear sound spilled into Jack Casey's waiting ears, thirsty with anticipation, from the water that just dripped off his back as he emerged from the ocean off of Seattle. That's not really in the book. I'm mixing things that I'm making up right now with Jack Casey's books. A wordless hymn held a steady note, soaking into the ground. Oh, not a real libertarian says they're turned on now. All right, I guess we're done here. Jack Casey, royalgreen.com. Yes, that's the reaction we were looking for.
What am I doing with my life?
Discussing the importance of waterways in our country.
I guess we are going to see me puke on camera. I'm okay, folks. I can breathe.
That's funny. Yes, indeed.
Oh my God. Okay. So, Cajun, do you have something for to share with folks? Do you have a segment? Because I don't know. Your notes say literally nothing.
My notes say snake education. So I guess we're done here.
So for folks that are just tuning in, I write like a page and a half of notes of what I want to talk about. And Cajun consistently writes like 2 words and likes to make me panic because I'm, I don't know, a control freak or something, and I want to be prepared. And he's like, yeah, I got my notes done. Snake ed. Woo!
Snake
like,
education.
All right.
This is the way.
Educate Cajun.
So this is one of my favorite. Let me do this the right way. See, I am organized. Look at that. I made you little. I am a unprofessional, unqualified herper. I do love reptiles to a great degree. I love snakes. I've owned a bunch of snakes. I've helped do some venomous snake removal. Something I don't like is the old adage, the only good snake is a dead snake, because that's about as ignorant as everything gets. I don't mean to call you ignorant if that's the phrase you use, but hopefully I can help turn a little bit of that around today. I absolutely love snakes. I've always loved snakes. And not a real libertarian says eduma Cajun. And I love that. That is why Chris Darnell is not nearly as good a host on a podcast as I am. So
careful. Last time
snakes.
Someone said that, they stole the show.
That is true. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I guess I got to be careful. So what a lot of people don't know, Alice Wonder says I had a Brazilian rainbow boa. Yeah, I've had a couple of boas, Colombian red tails, love them. The last one that I had was about 7 feet long, and I gave it to a snake pro that he could use going around the country doing snake education shows. And so there's actually a picture here. I'll go get it real quick.
No worries. I'll just talk to you folks. Hey, I hope you folks are having a great time here. Oh, he's back. Okay, good job. Because I know nothing about snakes. In fact, Alaska doesn't have any reptiles. We only have one amphibian, actually. So Alaska doesn't have any reptiles at all. So,
and I guessed said amphibian right off the bat. It is, in fact, a frog.
Well, aren't there? That's an easy guess.
There's a lot of amphibians. Best host ever just walks away. I am becoming notorious for just walking right off the podcast here lately, but maybe I'm a little bit too comfortable. I don't know. Here's a picture of the last one that I gave away with my, at that time, 10-year-old daughter,
Oh,
Jaden Sky. That was our Colombian red-tailed boa, Titus. He got to about 7 feet long. And so I decided to do this because it's something that snakes are awesome. I know you should not step on snake for sure. Maybe I should stop reading the comments so I can actually do this. All right. I was on Clubhouse and we got to talk about snakes and the snake issues in the Everglades and just snakes in general because I'm a huge advocate for it. Some people like to call me very pretentious because of the language I choose to use a lot of the times. And so let me knock this a little bit real quick right out of the way. Snakes are not poisonous. These snakes they are venomous. The difference between envenomation and being poisoned is if something bites you and injects you, that is envenomation. If you eat something and get sick, that is being poisoned. So there is a scientific difference between being envenomated and being poisoned. Therefore, there are no technically there is one poisonous snake in the world. It is also venomous, and it's somewhere over in Asia, but I forget the name of the snake and where. I think it's China, but it's actually venomous if it bites you. But if you eat it, it'll make you sick.
I'm surprised you didn't say Australia.
Now we were arguing which state has the worst, deadliest. I was going to say beasts, but that would really sound like bears and stuff. But as far as things that can actually kill you that you can't see, there's a bunch of that down here. But Australia takes the cake. There's no doubt about it. It's like everything that lives over there wants to kill you and eat you. It's pretty wild. It's insane. And so only about 13 to this data that I'm just pulling out of the top of my head is a couple of years old. So it may have changed by now, but it's around 13 or 15% of the world's snake population is actually venomous. And so the vast majority of snakes are non-venomous. Now, that does not mean that venomous snakes aren't useful or very, very, very important to your ecosystem, especially your ecosystem in your area. So whatever snakes you have in that area, and we'll go over a few of them, and I've got pictures and details. I'm pulling some of the stuff right off the CDC. I haven't gotten into the CDC info yet. I'm just telling you stuff that I know right now, and then clearing up a little bit of misinformation. Something else that I'd like to also outline is that there are no aggressive snakes. People like to say that particular type of snake is very aggressive. That is not true. There are no aggressive snakes. Some snakes are more defensive than other snakes, but there are no aggressive snakes. Water moccasins do not chase you. That is a myth. There are black racers that will sprint, and sometimes they unfortunately will sprint in your direction. They are not chasing you. They are just moving, and they are very fast too, by the way. Black racers are extraordinarily fast. There are no aggressive snakes. There are only hyper defensive snakes, and that's going to vary among the snake population. And so a good tip is the king snake. If you don't know what a king snake looks like, leave them alone. They're black. Black speckled king snakes are what we have here in the Southeast, and they will actually protect your yard because they are very territorial and they will eat venomous snakes. And again, venomous snakes are important and they're not aggressive. They can be defensive. Also to note, I learned this back in 2014 that there were about 200 cases of venomous snake bites, envenomation, in the state of Louisiana in 2014. Like 188 of them knew the snake was there and was trying to kill it. Right? So 12 people got envenomated incidentally or accidentally. The vast majority, the 88% or something ridiculous, knew the snake was there and they were trying to kill it. So the best thing you could do is just take 2 steps back and walk away. Don't mess with snakes. Don't kill the snakes. They are very important. Now, if there is an imminent threat and you do have a firearm, then sure, take a crack at it. But try, if you can't find somebody that will help remove that snake from your area, don't risk your child getting envenomated or yourself getting envenomated. So that being said, let's go over a few of the stats straight off the CDC. All right. Venomous snakes found in the United States include rattlesnakes, copperheads, cottonmouths, water moccasins. Cottonmouths and water moccasins are the same thing. And coral snakes. Coral snakes are actually the most venomous snake in our land. So far as I'm aware, there's a pygmy rattlesnake that is very, very venomous. Um, I'm supposed to stop saying So, although rare, some people with a severe envenomation or allergy to snake venom may be at risk of death if bitten. A lot of people get allergies to snake envenomations because they have been bit before. And you'll see this a lot with snake handlers where they have been bit, they've been treated, and then they'll develop an allergy to the venom itself. And it actually can be more harmful at times than the actual envenomation. So, out of that being said, it has been estimated that 7,000 to 8,000 people per year receive venomous bites in the U.S., and about 5 of those people die. 5. A lot more people would die if they didn't seek medical treatment. Now, there is a lot more common issue when it comes to being envenomated. It's disability and permanent injury, such as loss of part or all of a finger or the function of it. And now we do see this a lot. This does happen quite a bit where you'll lose tendon function and things of that nature by being in, because most of the time people get bit, it's by their hand. They're reaching in bushes and they're reaching around corners and stuff, and smack, they get hit. Or they're trying to actively kill the snake. And by the way, I forgot this fun fact. 50% of those 188 that were envenomated, knowing the snake was there and trying to kill it, they were drunk and alcohol in their system. Hooray, Louisiana for the win. So, it's reported to be about between 10 and 44% in patients with rattlesnake bites, where they lose a lot of the functionality or major tissue damage. And so another thing you got to look at is the toxicity of which they use. Spiders, same way. Every venom is going to be different. Rattlesnakes, I believe, are a hemotoxin, which means that their toxin affects the blood. Then you have neurotoxins that affect the neurological system. There's a handful of toxins. So the antivenom that you're going to use and what happens to you after being envenomated is all predicated upon what sort of toxin that snake is releasing. And la 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 from Sarah Foster. No, I told you I should move this thing. It just says la la la. I don't know. I like that though. Lost my train of thought. So it's important to know that the different types of toxins that the snake releases as it injects to you is how those snake bites are going to come to fruition and what kind of damage it's going to do. A lot of it's local tissue damage. Some of it's more wholly autonomous, especially if it's a neurotoxin. It attacks your neurological system as opposed to an affected area. Like a rattlesnake bite is usually going to be treated very soon, but because it's a hemotoxin, it's going to have a really bad localized bite to it. This is what I was going to say before I got interrupted by la la la. A lot of times, so we got to always remember that snakes are cold-blooded reptiles. And so there are actually no snakes in Alaska. That's why Alaska doesn't have a lot of reptiles or amphibians in period, is because these animals are cold-blooded. They don't supply their own heat. They don't supply their own energy. So they have to soak it up from the sun.
There's a lot of reptiles in DC though, right?
The lizard people. Yes. I don't even want, I hate the fact that we call them snakes. They're not snakes. They're lizard people. Snakes are great. Snakes are awesome. Snakes are your friend. They help keep the rodent population down. We should have more snakes in DC so that that's what we ought to call DC. It's full of rodents.
Oh.
That carry a ton of diseases and destroy your financial system. Because that's what happens when rats get into your house. They tear up your electrical wiring and you have to spend $2,000 to get me out there to kill all the rats. Then you got to call repairmen to come out there and fix everything. Sound familiar?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just had to put that out there. All right.
No, thank you very much. So snakes are cold-blooded reptiles. They need to draw their energy source from the sun. That's why you'll see them basting, right? They'll be out on a rock soaking up that sun. They're getting energy that they can't produce for themselves. And a strike takes a lot of energy. It has to produce a lot of energy to make that happen, because you've seen snakes strike on many animal shows and that full of rat bastards. Thanks, Brian. Yes, indeed. So when they strike, it's a lot of energy, and it takes even more energy to inject you with venom. And what snakes view you as is a large, murderous predator. And we are large murderous predators. That's why the snake, the slogan "I would love to kill" is the only good snake is a dead snake. False. Dwight Schrute style false. Because we are large, dangerous, very scary looking predators to them. But because they have fangs and slither, and Hollywood makes movies about them, we tend to be more scared of them. But they are absolutely more scared of us. So they don't want to deliver. They don't want to have to use any more energy than what's absolutely necessary, including injecting you with venom. So there's a large portion of snake bites from venomous snakes that are actually just dry bites. And they won't inject any venom because they can't eat you. They know they can't eat you. So they're going to spend as little energy as possible to get you out of their life and quickly. So they will do all kinds of, they use all kinds of methodology to do this. Rattlesnakes will rattle. Now, sometimes you'll get popped by a rattlesnake and it didn't rattle. Cottonmouths, water moccasins. And I'll show you, let me show you the picture of the water moccasin real quick. Cottonmouth. So the reason I want to go over this as well is if you're in the southeastern area, as I am, we don't have time to go through all of the venomous snakes in the U.S., so I've just picked my area because I'm biased. Is that the right one? Yep, there it is. So you can see that one in the middle there. I think everybody can see my cursor. This picture in the middle, all three of these are cottonmouths. These are from the Echistrodon family. They're close cousins to the copperhead. Yeah. Right there. As Eskimo is doing really well. It will open its mouth up, and it's very, very, very white. That's why the nickname called cottonmouth. They also do this because takes a lot less energy for them to open their mouth and try to scare you than it does to deliver a strike, and then one more time to deliver a strike with venom. Now you can see that there's a bullseye pattern up here. Now you don't want to rely on, thank you, Eskimo, for pointing this out at the beginning of the show as well. Triangular heads are not an identifier for venomous snakes. They're not. Please don't go off of that. That is false. That's fake news. It's fake news because I have all the best snakes. It's fake news. I have the best words and all of the best snakes. It's
Matt
fake
Wright
news.
says, "Welcome to Muddied Waters, Nat Geo."
Welcome to Muddied Waters, Nat Geo, Donald Trump style. Because I have all the best hosts. Muddied Water has all the best content. Thank you. So the cottonmouth, Echistrodon, close cousins of the copperhead. A lot of times their pattern will have this bullseye. If you look at the top picture, if you can, I don't think I can zoom in it because we're live here. But it has kind of a bullseye pattern on it repeatedly throughout. It's very black and tan looking snake. And I kind of skipped over the other ones that I had first, but it really matters. So I got to wait on phone to load. Phone is loading. Headed to cottonmouths or water moccasins, right? Okay, cottonmouth snakes average 50 to 55 inches long. The adult's skin is dark tan brown or nearly black with vague black or dark brown cross bands. Juveniles have a bold cross-banded pattern of brown or orange with a yellow tail. Cottonmouths are frequently found in or around water. They are very much water oriented. So those juvenile cottonmouths will have this highlighter bright tail, and it is very beautiful. The juvenile venomous snakes are actually very gorgeous. But as you can see, as they get older and before they shed, their color dies. It dulls out. This one on the bottom is a very, very beautiful head to a copperhead. Now you can see that eye ridge line that goes above the eye. Look at that bottom picture. That is a good identifier for a cottonmouth. Now, the point is not to be able to identify venomous snakes as a whole because you can't do that. But if you know the snakes in your region, then you can identify them by certain characteristics, and that's very important so that you know you can stay away. It's very important that we identify our snakes so that we are keeping ourselves, our children, and our snakes safe. Okay, there's a ridge line that goes over that water moccasin's eye. If you look over that cottonmouth from an aerial view, you cannot see his eyeball. That's the cottonmouth. Now let's go to the cottonmouth's cousin, the copperhead. Again, a part of the Echistrodon family. Matt said something about this is Muddied Waters, Nat Geo. Look, I don't do notes, man. So I got to talk about something that I know about. So I'm going to talk about snakes because it's hot and they're all coming out this time of year, except for in Alaska because it's always effing cold over there.
So what I'm hearing is you didn't want to prepare notes, so you quickly ran outside and took pictures.
I know.
Like,
I
we'll talk
stole these
about
off
this.
of. No way. You think I'm going to do that much work? Absolutely not. I stole these
Oh,
off of. These are screenshots
my
off Google
bad.
Images. Copperheads vary in color from reddish to golden tan. This is a copperhead here, and you can see it has the drop, right? It's like a Hershey's Kiss pattern, is what they call that. Again, these patterns are not very reliable because snakes do have pigmentation diseases and different pigmentation that can ruin your ability to identify it based solely on patterns. It's not a solid identifier, but it can be a really good one. There's some remarkable photos of copperheads because they are to me one of the prettiest venomous snakes in our country. If it, in They come out during the worst time of the year because they match the fall leaves. So you'll see them in the leaves in the fall, and they're absolutely difficult to spot. Hard to spot, but they are very important and they're very, very pretty. A lot of people say that they'll smell cucumbers when a copperhead is around. That is false. Fake news. It's fake news. Okay. Don't rely on that. Rely on education. Hallelujah. The colored bands on their body are typically hourglass. They're using hourglass here, but most people in the South just say Hershey Kisses. It looks like a Hershey's Kiss right there. You can see that. They have a deep facial pit between each eye and their nostril. Great identifier. Triangular heads are not an identifier for venomous snakes. Most adults are about 18 to 36 inches long. They're not usually aggressive because the snakes are not aggressive. They are defensive, but will often freeze when frightened and will strike in defense if threatened, contacted, or interacted with. They are more likely to be bitten when they unknowingly step on or near a copperhead. The reason for that's exception with this particular snake is because of how camouflaged they are within leaves and they come out during the fall. Copperheads are often found in forests, rocky areas, swamps, or near sources of waters like rivers. Early administration of antivenom results in faster limb recovery and reduced limb disability after copperhead snake envenomation. So, almost done. If everyone, I hope everyone's hanging with me because I absolutely love this stuff. We're almost done. Here's some rattlesnakes. 3 different types of rattlesnakes here. These pictures are very small. I know that last one is just freaking awesome, ain't it? That black snake, that dude is dangerous. Dangerous, but very, very beautiful and very, very important to your ecosystem. There are many different species of rattlesnakes in the U.S. Rattlesnakes are the largest of the venomous snakes in the United States that can quickly and accurately strike 1/3 or more of their body length from any position, whether coiled or stretched out. Rattlesnakes may use their rattles as a warning when they feel threatened, although they do not always rattle before biting. I said that earlier. You can still get popped by one without a rattle, but most of the time it will rattle. Rattlesnakes may be found sunning themselves near logs, boulders, or open areas. These snakes may be found in most habitats, including the mountains, prairies, deserts, and beaches. Antivenom is going to be always recommended because that is the treatment for envenomation when it comes to venomous snakes. Again, very rare, not deadly if you seek medical treatment. Best thing to do is take 2 steps and walk away. And here's the last one we're going to get to. It is the coral snake, a very dangerous, very venomous snake. These snakes are sometimes confused with the non-venomous king snakes, which have similar colored bands, although in a different arrangement. Coral snakes tend to hide in leaf piles or burrow into the ground. U.S. geographic region, woody, sandy, or marshy areas of the southern United States. Here's another one that we must steer clear of. That black and yellow friendly fellow, black and red, Jack is dead. Those phrases don't work because snakes will also suffer from pigmentation issues and it will throw those color markings off like that. Do not use those phrases. They are not reliable identifiers. Anything that seems like a little trick is bad. There are no tricks. There is education and identification and leaving them the F alone so that they can go kill off the rats and the mice that will tear up your house and give you a lot of diseases if they run rampant. So please leave the snakes alone. I promised Nullik I would not hang out on this segment too often because I could talk about snakes the whole time. And we're supposed to be a political show. As Matt said, this is Muddy Waters Nat Geo session. Sorry, it's that time of year, and I'm an avid herper. I absolutely love snakes. And I am Cajun libertarian, and I am done speaking, as I hear so many people say in Clubhouse. I don't know why. I just quit talking. I don't say that. Just don't
Yeah.
talk anymore. You don't have to announce you're done with your speech.
So whenever anyone sees a Gadsden, I don't know how to pronounce
Gadsden.
it, Gadsden flag,
Gadsden.
think of Muddied Waters and this special Nat Geo episode.
No step on snake. No kill
Yes.
snake. Leave snake alone.
Yeah.
Valid
People are going to
reasons.
see that flag and be like, you know what the Cajun told me? He told me about these. This is what he said. Tune into
Yeah.
Muddied Waters, by the way. That's what I got from this.
I'll take that. That's a win. I hope.
There you go. Yes. But yeah, that's
You know,
very interesting.
yeah, I love snakes. I love reptiles and amphibians, and it's just that time of year. And since I have the opportunity to express that education, I'm going to take that opportunity because it's important to me. And you know what else is important to me? Libertarians running for Congress.
Like Jonathan Reels. So
Like
Jonathan
Jonathan.
Reels is running for representative in Alabama for District 2, 2nd District. Is that the right one? Yeah. So unfortunately, Jonathan Reels is not a real candidate, but you can help him become a real candidate. Due to ballot access laws, he needs to reach $5,000. So make sure you go to www.jonathan.cash. That is www.jonathan.cash and help him become a Reels candidate. For reals, guys.
For reals.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can. Oh, not a real libertarian says from dressing as a crab. I don't know why he's calling it a crab. You bought the freaking suit, dude. It's a crawfish suit. From dressing as a crab to Nat Geo.
So I
Yes.
actually do have a funny story about snakes. So
Nice.
I was mountain biking in the Midwest. I did a lot of mountain biking around there and mountain bike races. And after growing up in Alaska, my eyes were like up looking around for like moose and bears, even though there's like no moose and bears around. But I kept running over snakes. Like my husband was right behind me. He's like, "You know how many snakes you ran over?" I'm like, "I'm not looking for snakes. I've
Mhm.
never had to look for snakes." So I thought that was kind of funny.
What were you in? Like a bike or something? Or a car?
Yeah, I was mountain biking. So I was
Oh.
just going through the woods and I did a bunch of different types of race. Like I would do enduro races, endurance races, which those are two different types of races. Enduro races, you can take your time going up a hill, and then they time you from the top of the hill to the bottom. So there's like three major segments that they time you, and then they add those three segments up, and that is your time. But going up a hill, you just kind of take your time and relax, and then you just bomb going downhill. And then endurance races, those ones were like 50, 100 miles long. Those were insane. Yeah. And
So,
I did some other like cross country races, but those were the two that I mainly did.
okay. And run over a bunch of snakes while you're
Yeah.
doing it. You know
Yes.
what? You know what, Eskimo? To the gulag.
Oh my God. Please.
To the gulag. I can also mute your mic. To the double gulag, because now her mic is muted as well. Totally kidding. You know, you're great. Jack Casey says that's actually what I'm doing on that rock shirtless, absorbing sunlight for
Oh my
later
God.
when I need to strike. Because apparently he needs to continue soaking up the sun a little longer to strike for his third book. That'll be released by the end of this episode, which is happening in a little less than 9 minutes. So get your Amazon.com ready for the third series of Jack striking while sunbathing. That's probably the name of the book. RoyalGreen.com.
My face is so squishy.
Muddy Waters has all the best hosts, and everyone knows it. Thank you, JP. You are the man. You know what? I got to say, I want to say this live on air. JP, you have a voice for radio, bro. That thing is impressive, dude. It is such a deep, rich baritone voice. Great comment. Thank you. Yes, Muddy Waters does have all the best hosts because there are no hosts from Not a Real Libertarian on it, so that automatically makes us the best.
You got to be careful when you challenge libertarians on how good of a host they are for podcasts.
We actually already covered this earlier. Yeah, you're right. I should stop doing that because last time, Spike tried to get me last time, and I hijacked the show. So, yes,
Perfect.
Ari says I am loving this episode. Snakes are so important to the ecosystem. Yes, they are.
Man, I didn't realize how much of a muscle shirt this is. I just got this as a gift. I'm like, all right, let's throw it on. Now I'm like,
Yeah, medium.
medium. I'm
Yeah,
gonna flex
medium.
out of it. Just
Bust out of it like the Hulk.
Hulk out. Yeah, I'm gonna Hulk out on camera.
Matt Wright says, "We get it. You like the Gadsden flag."
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I even have my own Gadsden flag, just says don't tread on anyone. But how about this for a font? There's like literally snow on my font. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I actually have the shirt. So
I don't have my own shirt.
I have 2 Eskimo Libertarian shirts and have had them for what you think about a month or 2 now. And Eskimo has not bought one single shirt from me. So I'll had to say that live. I'm just messing with you. James Reynolds says you both covered topics huge to me. Great show. And James, you are all over Eskimo's really important segment that I love and is awesome with the waterways and byways. I don't know. Do you have byways up there, or is that just a southern thing?
I've never heard of a byway,
Oh,
to be honest.
it's basically just a branch off of a swamp or creek or river.
Yeah, it is like
larger body of water.
It is swampy up here, but it's different because it's so much colder and we have different vegetation. But there's a lot of rivers. A lot of it stems from these glaciers that we still have up here because we're still in the ice age or whatever. And that's where we get all these rivers from, and tons of precipitation. Yeah, it's definitely swampy, but it's its own version of swampy.
Yeah. There was a word for it. I was talking to people in our seafood caucus. Join the seafood caucus. Yeah, in the seafood caucus. He had a really cool word for it. I didn't know that's what y'all called him. I don't remember
taiga?
what it was. No, it wasn't that, but that's a really cool word too.
Yeah, some areas are called the taiga. There's
Oh, it's like the Alaskan version of a swamp.
I thought it was taiga, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I could. No, I'm probably wrong.
Oh, okay.
Ashley Greer Smoot says, I'm on a trampoline, so I can't hear you, but I assume you're doing something weird rubbing that flag. Seeing as how I have no flag, she has to be talking to you, and you're being very weird with your flag rubbing. Oh, come on.
I can have the flag rub me. Which I was actually thinking of auctioning this off and getting an even bigger one because this is like the smallest size from my own store and I want it bigger. So I've thought about auctioning this off to pay for better Wi-Fi because I need all the Wi-Fi. So if people are interested, let me know and I'll auction this off and I don't know, maybe I'll even sign it. And add a bunch of stickers too. I got tons of AKLP stickers. I could make a whole basket. But yeah, how about you talk about Breaking Boundaries event?
Yeah,
that's coming
for sure. Up. Yeah, because we're actually looking at things right now, trying to figure out. We do have a Tunica gun raffle. And so if there are any more tickets left, we just started it 2 days ago at 150 tickets, and we may be sold out. If not, we are very close to being sold out. All that money is going to go to helping the Muddy Waters crew get to Tunica, Mississippi. So please buy your gun raffle tickets. You get a super awesome 12 Gagoo shotgun because that's how it was spelled. There are a limited amount of tickets left. It is a beautiful 12-gauge shotgun with a pistol grip. Super awesome. Ashley says, getting weirder. I assume you read my comment. Yes, I did. Now it's weirder. Tunica, breaking boundaries. I'll turn this around. There we go. You can contact Chris Darnell, Vicky Rose, or myself, and we can get you pointed in the right direction for the gun raffle. It's $10 a ticket. There's only 150 tickets. You can only buy up to 10. So the maximum amount of number of tickets that you can buy for this beautiful, gorgeous shotgun is $100. And again, they're almost gone. I think we have like 50 tickets left, maybe 55, and it's less than 72 hours old since we posted it. So I would not wait a second longer. Go ahead and buy. You could potentially win a beautiful, freaking sexy gagoo shotgun for $10. So do that. Breaking Boundaries is going to be from July 9th through the 11th. We will have a protest rally over cannabis with Adam Kokesh as a speaker, possibly Spike as well, in Hernando, Mississippi, the morning of that Friday, which is July 9th, if you can make that. Then we'll have a formal dinner for the sponsors with Spike and Adam and some other folks that Friday evening. We'll have some speakers and a bunch of fun Saturday and a brunch with everybody on Sunday. So that is at the Tunica Horseshoe Crab and Hotel in Tunica, Mississippi. Get your tickets, get your rooms, get all that stuff now because it's going really, really fast. And that gun raffle is like flying off the shelf. That was such a great idea from Chris Darnell, Not a Real Libertarian podcast. Fantastic podcast. I was just on it Thursday night wearing a crawfish suit and terribly singing and playing guitar at the same time because I forgot to take my headphones off when I went to go sing. And so it sounds pretty awful. You should definitely watch it. Tunica. Part of the proceeds are going to go to raising money for Mercy House Teen Challenge. Mercy House Teen Challenge is a 14-month residential rehab. They have about 45 to 50 men, typically speaking. They're always maxed out. I mean, almost always maxed out. Again, it's 14-month residential rehab for drug and alcohol. It's faith-based. They don't charge anybody anything to get in. So they can use all the help they can get. And they've been running for a long time. They're very well established. I used to work there. I'm a graduate of Teen Challenge myself, not that one, a different one, but I did work there for a year or so. And I want to help them out because they are helping out people that cannot help themselves. And that's what we do. So we don't have to have governments do that. So let's do the thing, as Thomas says. I love that, by the way. I'm going to just say that all the time. Let's do the thing, and then we'll do all the things, right? So please get your stuff. Get to Tunica. Come have a blast with me and Spike and Matt and Tasha and just the whole money. I can't say Eskimo anymore because we don't know. Things are going down, but that's okay. You can always catch Eskimo and Cajun on Sundays. You can catch Matt and Spike on Tuesdays. You can catch Spike on Wednesdays. You can catch Matt on Thursdays. And then right before Matt, you'll have Not a Real Libertarian, which is not a Muddy Waters podcast, but that is our friends, and he helps us out a bunch. Him and Will, not Chris Darnell and Will. Then you got Matt Wright's Writer's Block. And then you got the Eskimo Show. Eskimo. Have you even picked a name? What's the name of your
neither
show?
of you. You don't have a name
Cajun
for your
Libertarian
show.
Live. It's the Cajun Libertarian Live.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess Eskimo
you're right,
Show is good.
Yeah, Eskimo Show.
I am right. I'm always right.
That's pretty much accurate. Except for who's the better host. That's not accurate. And you don't cook your food right. That's inaccurate. You cook it right, but it's not seasoned properly.
You don't kill your food right.
If you didn't know this, the spiciest thing that Eskimo eats is mayonnaise. Sadly enough, it is not the mayonnaise that I will forget at this point. And Matt's going to hate me now, and I'm probably fired because I don't remember his favorite mayonnaise that he'll just spoon out of the jar, and that will be his breakfast 3 days a week.
Oh,
Matt Wright likes mayo.
Okay, but I don't eat my food spicy, but I kill my own food. So
we kill our own food here too.
You know
sometimes not as much as you.
So bad.
Yeah, no. I got to give you credit. You kill way more of your own food than we do. We buy a lot of our own food because we have a Walmart that we're going to stop shopping at because Connie and freaking Jimmy are phenomenal salesmen and salespeople that I'm that type of person. That's the kind of advocate. That's the kind of activist I want to be. Like the volunteer work that Eskimo does and the volunteer work that Cajun and Jimmy do. And they're not buying food from Walmart. They buy local. Everything is local. They don't use Amazon. I mean, I'm very envious that, yeah, you kill your food way more. I want to kill a bear and eat its heart too. I've never done that. I would do it today if I had a bear in my backyard. I've got a rifle and a lot of ammunition. I need a bear. We don't have bears here. So I'll be
Fair
going to
enough.
Alaska next year. Eskimos paying for it, and they're going to take me bear hunting, and I'm going to eat the heart right out of the dead carcass with no salt, just like Eskimo. Is that how we do it there? You just cut it
Yep.
open right there. It's the last dying breath is me with a Rambo knife, just carving the cardiovascular system out by hand.
Oh my
No salt.
god.
Oh, you do use a
Well,
little bit of butter.
I use butter, yeah. But no, my husband likes to reach in there, grab it, rip it out, and like, look at this.
I love it.
The heart of my foe.
I've done that with the deer. We don't have bears, so I can't shoot a bear here. There's a
My
bear
husband
somewhere.
is my husband's the sexiest man on earth, sexiest man alive.
Online? Were you going
Like
to say online?
alive. I'm trying to say alive and on earth at the same time. God, he's not
I
online.
wanna, this is funny. The first time I ever shot a deer, I got chased down in the middle of a creek and they dunked my face into a deer carcass. That's how we did it. We cut the deer open right there on it was the first deer you shoot. And, for us, I'm sure y'all up there as well. You have your traditions. I was just a kid. I'm like, you're not dunking my head in a bloody deer carcass. So I waded out into the creek, and two other hunters that I'd never seen before intercept me while my dad's chasing me from one side. They already knew the plan. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? I don't even know you. They're like, nope, got your dad's back. You're getting dunked. And so, yeah, they cut the deer open right there. Blood, just a pool of blood, and dunked my head in it. So that was awesome. So that's how I imagine this will go. I'll shoot the bear, and then I'll just knife its heart out like a real barbarian does. My instinct, my true nature, and just eat it right there on an open fire with a skillet and some butter. I give you the props there. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking too
So
much.
first I say sexist, and now I say my husband's the sexiest man online.
That's good. No, so
For
it's
oh my gosh, if people for the people that know me, this is like these are total. Oh my gosh. I
give
don't
it a
say this stuff. And then it comes out. I'm like, why? Why do I? And I get thoroughly embarrassed. And it's like, oh, why does this happen to me?
you care too much about listen up. That's why. I don't care. I've lost the ability to be embarrassed a long time ago. I just don't doesn't yeah, whatever.
Oh my God.
So I'm not worried about the words that fall out of my mouth because I do worry sometimes because I don't want to get us canceled. But yeah,
You just
I'm
got
not
to
gonna be
talk about
embarrassed.
being dunked in a pool of blood, baptized by your foe.
Baptized. Yeah. That's a good
Oh
word.
my
Thank you. I
God.
should have let off with that. Yeah, baptized. That's exactly what happened. It was only the first one though. You don't do it every time. It's the first deer you kill, you get dunked in the pool. Right there in the carcass, by the way. That's important. The dead carcass right there. It's not like they took some blood and put it in a pot. No, they just crank open the midsection and boom, in your head goes. Raw dog. All right,
Oh
that might get us kicked off.
my God. Afterwards, Matt and Spike would be like, we're going to have a talk, guys.
I know they say way worse stuff. I feel like
We'll see.
so. Yeah, we'll see. There's a GoFundMe link to help us out with the Tunica event. You can PayPal me as well. PayPal Cajun Libertarian 1. Let me get there. There's that PayPal. I would rather you just donate to the GoFundMe link, but if you don't want to do that, you can do it here, and I'll appropriate those funds accordingly. Help out Eskimo. She needs help financially with better Wi-Fi. Although, ever since we started this, even though this has the Muddy Waters curse, Eskimo's Wi-Fi has been flawless almost. Always got to mention goat yoga because that's important. I should have deleted that a few episodes back, but it's so funny. I'm going to leave it and just keep saying it. Goat yoga. I don't know what it's about, but it's something Brian Lambert said. So we're going to go with it.
We have reindeer yoga up here. I'm not even joking.
It's not, there's something funny about goat yoga though. Reindeer yoga sounds delicate and interesting. Like that sounds very pretty to me. Like you're just going to be out in the snow with reindeer, maybe a Santa Claus or two doing yoga. Goat yoga sounds like something you do in the wrong part of Mississippi.
Oh.
Goat yoga.
Oh gosh.
Eskimo Libertarian. Oh, I already took it down. PayPal right there. You also have a website as well. Eskimo.libertarian.
No, EskimoLibertarian.com.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought there was a dot in between. EskimoLibertarian.com. We got to put that on there. Get your Eskimo merchandise, just like that beautiful Alaskan Gadsden flag in the back with the cutest freaking avatar in the libertarian movement. That is not up for debate. If you
Yeah,
think if you think
so
there's one
cute.
better, make one. But right now, there's not one better. Eskimo has the greatest avatar libertarian in the history of the libertarian movement. So that is non-debatable. CajunLibertarian.com. You can get shirts like this. A little Cajun spice makes liberty real nice. We also have coming soon, same Cajun time, same Cajun channel, and meet them where they're at. And I have a special shirt being prepared for Chris Darnell, Jack Casey, and possibly now Matt Wright for making fun of my snake episode. And it's going to say, Cajun Libertarian is your daddy. It's going to be very similar to the ones that my kids have that says Cajun Libertarian is my daddy. No, yeah, it'll just be the same one. Just in a, I might, you know what? I'm gonna send Jack Casey like a large boy's size and make him wear it. He'll like tear it by the time he gets it on.
Make it a schmedium. A
Yes,
schmedium is this shirt.
Yeah,
I'm now wearing this shirt again.
schmediumer. It'll be more schmediumer
Oh
than
my
that shirt.
god.
It'll be a child size. He doesn't have any hair on his chest, so he deserves a child t-shirt for not having any hair on his chest. And Chris Darnell gets a child shirt too because he can't grow a beard.
Oh my god.
Let me take this down. All right. One more thing. Goat yoga. I don't know what it is, but it sounds great or terrible.
Okay.
I think we covered all of the promos.
Yeah, we're falling apart here.
In grandiose fashion.
All right.
Somebody on there said that I broke Eskimo when you spit out all your coffee and was laughing. I don't even remember what we were laughing about, but that was funny. Yeah. So it's goat yoga.
We gotta wrap this up. We gotta wrap this up.
Are you going to be able to say the last part here? Yeah. All right. Well, we are logging off, y'all. This is the Cajun and Eskimo Show.
Advocating for a freer world.
From Bayous
to Iglus.
We are out. That's good. That's a great show.